Welcome to my outlook and prediction for 2025 for uranium. 2024 was a difficult year, a disappointing year for some as far as the uranium price is concerned and the stock performance of the uranium miners. But if you look at the fundamental developments of the nuclear energy sector and therefore the uranium supply and demand situation, 2024 was actually one of the best years ever in the uranium sector, and it will start playing out in 2025. Welcome to my prediction outlook for 2025. My name is Danny Wilhelmi, head of trading here at Bull Markets Lifestyle, and let's jump right into the presentation for uranium and my prediction for 2025. So, 2024 was a difficult year for uranium. If we take a look at the chart of the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, you see here was the start of the year. Somewhere around here. Yeah, there we go. So, as you can see, a down year that got sold off in November and December. Obviously, December sell-off. Why? Well, because year-end selling. The assets that did not perform well usually get sold off because institutional investors don't want to hold these assets in their portfolios when they have to show them to the clients at year end. But that also offers us a tremendous investment opportunity. If you look at the chart, you can see we reached this upper blue support zone that has been in place since fall of 2023. So over a year, it was tested successfully in August and September right here. And again, in November, it held every time. Obviously, the really interesting zone is this double support zone right here of this big horizontal zone and the uptrend. We get to it in a minute. So what happened? Well, really 2024 was a consolidation in the uranium market after a monster year 2023. Again, look at this up move that we saw from summer 2023 all the way to January, February 2024. The uranium price basically doubled. Sprott Physical Uranium went up even a little more. That is normal for the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, because this one adds the emotions of the investors, right? The spot price is the spot price. That's what an entity like a utility pays for the uranium to a uranium producer. The Sprott Physical Uranium Trust basically is the price, the spot price of uranium plus a premium on top of it of the sentiment of the market. So if we are hitting a bull market in uranium, you really want to invest in Sprott more than anything, because you got to get this second push in performance, the sentiment push, because people start buying into it. So 2024, normal consolidation after a massive move up that is completely expected. But fundamentally, we had spectacular news about big tech getting into the nuclear energy space to fuel their AI developments. And the center part of it will be the SMRs, the next generation smaller nuclear reactors, that President Trump said he wants the US to be number one in SMR technology. Extremely bullish. Because of this development, it is actually not true that the nuclear energy bull market had a bad year. It was uranium specifically, and we'll talk about that, the reasons in a second. The rally shifted from uranium to the SMR sectors, and the stocks of companies that were active in the SMR space look at BWX Technologies. They had a stellar year 2024. Look at Oklo. It's a small cap, granted, but look at that performance. This has gone up 5x from September to October. Again, illustrating how explosive stocks from the nuclear energy sectors can be once momentum gets into the stock. But the action in the SMR sector basically took away money from the uranium sector and the uranium miners. We all know these headlines, ladies and gentlemen. This is big. Why is this big? Because it's new. This just started this year. Yes, we know the news now, but it's not priced into the uranium markets yet. Why? Because big tech, they said they're going to get in it, but they haven't obviously built the SMRs yet. That's coming. But the demand side just increased significantly. And we all know about the supply deficit that uranium is in already. And now we get big tech on top of it. So the deciding news why uranium was down was that as a retaliation for Biden's ban of imports of Russian uranium, Russia de facto banned the exports of enriched uranium. Moscow installed a law where companies that wanted to export enriched uranium from Russia had to get the permit from the government agencies, which basically gives Moscow the power to control the business of enriched uranium. So that forced the Western utilities, and especially American utilities, on securing their supplies of enriched uranium. That became the number one concern for senior management of Western utilities that are active in nuclear energy. Everything else was put on the back burner. All attention, all energy, all focus went on this, because if the utilities couldn't get that enriched uranium, then, well, literally the lights are shutting down or off. That means also the uranium purchases got shelved. That was not important in 2024. And that's exactly what we saw in the uranium price. If you allow me to go back to Sprout real quick, 1 second. Here we go. Then you can see that the reason why the uranium price went up so much in the fall, winter was that the utilities were all buying uranium on the market in anticipation of Biden's law for the import ban of Russian uranium. So Western utilities, especially American utilities, basically reduced and stopped purchasing uranium on the market in 2024. That's why the market found an equilibrium around 75 to 77 US dollars per pound. And then also, not very much reported, a Kazakh/Russian version of the Sprott Physical Uranium ETF got liquidated in 2024. So that caused an overhang in uranium supply that had to be absorbed by the market, but there was not a big market, like I told you, because the Western utilities weren't buying. So therefore, all these factors led to the reduced uranium price. But a lot of these factors are short-term and happened in 2024. So Why am I bullish on uranium in 2025? Trump is pro-nuclear, more pro-fossil fuels, but pro-nuclear. He's very much pro-SMR technology. Trump wants Chris Wright as the Secretary of Energy. Chris Wright calls himself a fan of nuclear energy. So put these two together on top of a Republican Congress, and we have the best setup for pro-nuclear energy, pro-uranium in Washington in decades. Also remember that, yes, Trump's presidency is just starting on January 20th, but we know historically Americans like divided power. So by the midterm, they like to vote when the Congress elections are up for half the seats in the Senate and the House. They like to vote for the representatives of the opposite party of whoever is in the power in the White House. So that means Trump essentially doesn't have 4 years. He only has 2 years where he can be sure that he can get everything done that he wants to get done that's important to him. One of the core things that he wants to get done that's important to him is energy independence. Yes, by drilling fossil fuels, but nuclear energy has the highest dependency on foreign imports of all the major energy used in the US. Uranium is the number 2 energy source for energy in the US. We talked about factor number 2. Utilities should get back into the uranium market in 2025 as buyers. That is excellent. Sentiment, actually positive because nobody's invested anymore. There's no uranium hype. That means we have a lot of new buyers that will be coming into the market once uranium gets moving. So what could derail the uranium bull market? We always want to look at both sides of the coin. First factor, Trump's foreign policy turns pro-Russia. Sanctions maybe get lifted, especially for something like uranium. That would be a problem, especially for the American uranium sector. Doesn't change the overall supply-demand problem, but obviously that would throw a curveball into the uranium market, especially US uranium market, short term. There's no positive momentum for the uranium stocks created. For example, because as you can see, the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust, it's running into the end of a triangle. The triangle, this is the long-term uptrend that goes all the way back to 2020. So that's more significant than the downtrend. But if we break below it, there's no momentum, then that would be bad. And obviously, I mean, we all hope that's not going to happen. Nuclear disaster like Fukushima, that would, basically destroy. It doesn't even destroy because there's no alternative, but it would really derail the uranium bull market. So what is my prediction? My prediction is that uranium will regain momentum and have a strong year 2025. Could also become a very strong year 2025. Reason being that we don't know which one it'll be. We don't know what Trump's foreign policy will be. If he continues Biden's strong foreign policy against Russia, or just keeps the import ban intact, or just announces major support of the American uranium sector, which I think will happen, then we're good. My target price, $85 in the spot. That doesn't sound like much, but I like to be a realist because we don't know at this point what Trump's foreign policy is. 85 is basically my price point for the utilities to coming back into the market. If Trump continues Biden's policy on nuclear energy and continues his America first and energy independence beliefs, then we could get to $100 in spot, and then we have a new massive uranium rally, especially in the miners. I expect a slower Q1 with price action getting hotter in the summer, in the fall, because a lot of the uranium deals for the utilities get made at a big summit in London in early fall. So how do I plan to play the uranium bull market? The deciding word is plan. I'm not your financial advisor. Please consult your financial advisor if you are thinking about investing in uranium. This is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. I'm telling you what I plan to do. Things change, especially in 2025 when Trump becomes president. So this is how I'm looking at things today. The end of September 2024, by the end of January, things could be very difficult. Difficult for sure. Conservative way would be long Sprott physical uranium ETF or yellow cake, which is basically the British version of the same thing. They both do the same thing. They buy uranium and store it. The speculative way would be long uranium producers and advanced developers. That is how I like to play the uranium sectors. I'll expand my portfolio on uranium miners, and I only focus on the US. Maybe some Canadian miners or North American developers, advanced developers, please, that are in certain sections in Canada. But that's it. I don't care about Africa. I don't care about any other region. The hottest market will be the US market for uranium. That's it for this prediction for 2025. I wish you all the best for the new year. Talk to you later when it's 2025.